Hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Hot Takes, coming to you live from Thoughtium headquarters here in Chicago. And we have our esteemed senior designer, Molly Sutherland, here with us today for a hot take. Molly, welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Here in Chicago. I'm normally based in North Carolina, so it's a special week to be here with the team.
Absolutely. Let's get into it. What's your hot take?
I know I am the designer, but my hot take is it is not about the slide deck.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Yeah. So when you walk into the room for an experience, right, what are you immediately looking for?
I will tell you, I've walked into a lot of conference rooms and boardrooms, and everybody's eyes is immediately on the screen in front of the room, waiting for the meeting to start by way of a slide deck.
Yeah. The slide deck feels like the anchor. It feels like we are here for this, and we know that our information will come from this place, right? But the slide deck is not the experience. The slide deck cannot be the content. It cannot be how people relate to the content, right? So that needs to be in what you're facilitating, how you're facilitating it, how you're engaging people. And the deck can only enhance that. It can't serve as that experience.
I love that. You know, so many times when we sit down to plan for a meeting or we're designing a workshop or an experience, we immediately go to the slide deck. And what that forces us to do is to design from top to bottom, which is in a linear fashion. But so many experiences that we create are so nonlinear. So immediately going to a slide deck is doing disjustice. So tell us a little bit about the experiences that we're designing for and why they don't fit in a series of slides.
Yeah, it is so fun designing here for that reason, right? So we're thinking about, yes, there might be slide decks, but also how are people interacting in a room virtually? Are they on a field guide? How are they interacting with each other? So we've had experiences that are live experiences. You would expect we have, 75 slides we need to go to. We've had 4 slides as our slide deck. Yep. And the experience that people are going through, they have a field guide in front of them that is giving them the key information that they are hearing from our facilitators. They can take notes in that. They can do that there. We just had a team experience. There was 1 slide up the entire hour-and-a-half presentation. And it was amazing. The engagement that was there was so good. And we were not looking at a slide, reading what was on it. We were looking at each other. We were participants in that experience together. Yep. And so when we think about the experience and what participants are doing, and not just the deck and how we're conveying information, we get a bigger, more expansive experience for our people.
This is a real hot take. So it is truly not about the deck. We're also learning that design is not linear. So what we put in front of people should also not be linear.
Yeah.
What are, maybe to round out, what are some best practices if, we as leaders or designers within organizations have this tendency to immediately go to the deck? How can we almost like snap our brain out of that? Like what's 1 or 2 things that we can do so that it doesn't become about the deck?
Yeah. We talked about this in our brand playbook. One of the things that I have in there as a guiding principle is the deck should be the last thing you're thinking about. Yep. So before you're even starting a deck, one, and this is later on in the process, but the biggest thing before you start a deck is you actually need to think about what is the purpose of this deck. When we think about how people want to feel in this experience, how people want to interact, we need to think about like, what purpose does this deck serve? Is this, we need a lot of information on this because it's info heavy? Is it actually, we need less deck and we need more field guide? Is it, we need a large room mural because we want people up and engaging and moving around? So really thinking about the purpose that the deck needs to serve. And before you even get there, you need to be able to speak to the entire experience without a deck in front of you. You really need to think about that storyboard, if you will, and the flow of it. And I know this is one of your favorite topics.
It is one of my favorites. We have a rule here at Thoughtium when we're designing for anything, before we go to production of materials, even, workbooks and slides, you have to be able to teach the experience to a colleague on your left or your right in 5 sentences or less. Yeah. Until everybody that's involved in this workshop, this meeting, can speak to the purpose and the experience in a couple of sentences very confidently, we're not relying on materials to get us there. So I love these best practices. It's not about the deck. That is a hot take. Thank you, Molly.
Yeah. And one thing I'll add, as a designer, that's so freeing because I'm not limited to designing in a deck. We have so much fun thinking about all the ways we can bring people into the conversation, into the information. And that makes my job so much more fun.
Absolutely. You know, and as somebody who's the face of our brand and out in front, we have really seen so many different ways that you can engage participants. So we challenge you all to maybe put the slide deck aside, or maybe even don't even pull one up when you're at the design table, and start to ask yourself some of these questions that get you to a more vibrant, more multidimensional, more fruitful experience ultimately. Part of our hot take series here is thinking about some of the things that maybe are out there in pop culture that we should be talking about, but we're not. So what's one thing that you're focused on? What's a hot take outside of work, Molly?
Yeah, I've grown very passionate about this recently. I'm working on converting most people on our team. For those of my friends that also wear glasses, we have very exciting news. Very exciting news, y'all. And that is clip-on sunglasses are in fact back. Okay.
That's a hot take.
Yeah. These, everyone needs to get on board. Okay. They are so easy, so functional, so streamlined, right? Just like this tiny little case in my pocket. I mean, I will say it's changed my life, truly.
Are these the ones that flip up, or you're just taking them on and off?
You can only take them on and off.
Okay.
That is for the best. Okay.
Yep.
We can leave the flip ones in the past, but the principle of it, fantastic.
You know, you rarely see people with clip-on sunglasses, although sometimes maybe you don't even know that they are.
Exactly.
They're that functional.
That is the magic of the design of them. You don't even know.
I love that. Hot takes, clip-on sunglasses are
right.
maybe the new thing. So Molly, thank you so much for being a part of this hot takes. It is not about the deck. If you have any questions, or you want to extend this conversation to, your team, please feel free to reach out to us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of the week and enjoy your weekend. See you soon.